I think first and foremost, I think it's important to mention that we tried to tell you that the back and forth that is happening with these tariffs, it's not stable, obviously, right? And you guys saw that when Trump announced these tariffs on the European Union, along with China, the stock market did tank, right? Like predictably so. And then there's been this back and forth between China and Trump, Trump increasing tariffs about 50 something percent on China, China increasing them on the United States, and back and forth and back and forth. And then all of a sudden, Donald Trump made an announcement that he is going to pause these tariffs for 90 days. Let's go ahead and get into that and what prompted this action. We'll get into it. Check this out.
We have major breaking news into CNN on the global trade war. President Trump just truthed out saying, quote, I have authorized a 90-day pause. The president here announcing a 90-day pause on tariffs, though it's not clear specifically which countries this pause is going to apply to. The Dow right now shooting up over 2,000 points. Look at that as this announcement comes through, a giant spike in the Dow Jones Industrial Average. This is important as part of the messaging around this post. The president saying that this is based on the fact that more than 75 countries have called the U.S. and try to work out deals with the administration and not try to retaliate for his tariffs. Notably, though, the president is raising the tariff applied to China from the United States to 125% effective immediately. So this pause applies to other countries, not China.
That's right. And
So let's pause there for just a second. So just to be clear, the tariff pause applies to other countries, but not China. So China is the exception. But notice that spike here. The moment that the tariff pause was announced for 90 days, the stock market, notice how it just shoot up, right? Like it just shoot up very clearly here. Boom, just strong increase right there. Let's continue.
90-day pause on new tariffs except for China, which again goes to 125%. And the markets obviously ebullient. They are as they are hearing this news. Let's go to Jeff Zeleny. He is live for us at the White House. This is what they had been hoping for, the markets. They actually kind of imagined it the other day and had a little bit of a jump into positive territory. But this is the announcement from the president, Jeff.
Well, Brianna, that was certainly a test run, but certainly not an intended one to see the markets go up when there was a false report of a pause. But now we are hearing from the president for the first time during this escalating trade war, saying that he is putting a 90-day pause. And you can just see to the right of our screen there what the markets are doing with this. From a policy standpoint, it is a bit more murky. The White House has not filled in any details of this, but we are getting this from the president on social media, as you were reading there. And he is explaining it as adding more to the China tariff pot, which is really growing day by day here, adding another tariff to China, even as he is praising the countries who he said have not retaliated. And those, of course, are the countries who are lining up to have discussions with the Treasury Secretary, with the White House, with the administration on trying to renegotiate. So the president is saying, and let me just read it to you here. He said, the countries who have not, at my strong suggestion, retaliated in any way, shape, or form against the United States, I have authorized a 90-day pause and substantially lowered reciprocal tariff during this period of 10%, also effective immediately. So what this would seem to be, and again, we will have to fill in the blanks here, what this would seem to be taking all the countries back to that baseline 10%, if you will, which went into effect last Saturday for most countries. And then, of course, the reciprocal tariffs went into effect at midnight. So the president is putting a pause on those. Of course, this is adding to the policy uncertainty, but you can see what the market is doing. It's adding a bit of certainty to the market. So we're expected to see the president in the next hour here at the White House. We will see if he adds any meat on this bones here, but certainly a significant reaction from the White House. They've been reeling here, watching the financial markets really have a deep negative effect on this. The president has long said, at least during this period, he's not watched the markets. We know, of course, watching him for a long time, he does. And clearly, this is something that he's been hearing from Republicans on Capitol Hill, Republican donors, really people who are supportive of his policies, saying it's time for an exit ramp. So that's what it looks like this will be, at least for now, a 90-day pause on those.
So I want you to pay attention to something that he said there that I think is important. Donald Trump didn't do this because he wanted to help the working class. He didn't do this because everyday average Americans were complaining about the tariffs. He did this because his billionaire friends and his donors complained about the tariffs. That's why he did it. So I just want to put that out there. It's not that he was looking out for you. He was looking out for the billionaires and his donors. Donald Trump did announce that he is pausing those tariffs for 90 days. And as I told you, part of that is because his billionaire friends complained, right? The billionaires complained, his donors complained, not because we complained. So just keep that in mind. Now, I want you to hear the statement that Trump made. This was kind of funny. Watch this.
You started the morning saying be cool, and just a few hours later, there was a pause put in on the tariffs. Can you walk us through your thinking about why you decided to put a 90-day pause?
Well, I thought that people were jumping a little bit out of line. They were getting yippy, you know? They were getting a little bit yippy, a little bit afraid, unlike these champions. Because we have a big job to do. No other president would have done what I did. No other president. I know the presidents, they wouldn't have done it.
Okay, what people is he referring to? He's referring to his billionaire buddies, right? He's referring to people like Bill Ackman. Bill Ackman, billionaire, was pretty vocal about this. Trump changes his tune as his billionaire backers push back against his tariffs. So that's Bill Ackman there. If you don't remember him, let me refresh your memory. Bill Ackman was the guy who single-handedly pushed out Harvard president Claudine Gay. Now, remember, he was the one that sounded the alarm about the campus protests at Harvard. He called them anti-Semitic. He wanted people fired or to resign. There was a lot of criticism there that came from him. Next thing you know, there's this plagiarism scandal against Claudine Gay. And then it was later outed that Bill Ackman's own wife also plagiarized her dissertation. So it's just all over the place. But what you need to know is that he was able to make those demands and to make those moves because he is a billionaire. He has a lot of money, and he's in that hedge fund space. Okay. He didn't make anything. He makes money off of other people making money. So think about it that way. He was vocal because the tariffs started to affect him. So you got to understand this. Hedge fund honcho Bill Ackman joined a growing list of President Donald Trump billionaire backers, calling for the White House to slam the brakes on the tariffs just hours before Trump authorized that 90-day pause. Ackman took to social media early on Wednesday, asking Trump to put a 90-day pause on tariffs, arguing the president can accomplish his objectives without destroying small businesses in the short term. He's talking about, of course, also his business. He is the founder of Pershing Square Capital Management, and it issued a dire warning of what could happen if the tariffs weren't halted immediately. If the president does not take the pause effect of the tariff soon, many small businesses will go bankrupt. Medium-sized businesses will be next. So that is why he paused the tariffs. Not because of us, but because of them, because of the billionaire class. Something else weird happened too, because there was this message here from Donald Trump on Truth Social, where he said, this is a great time to buy. Be cool. Everything is going to work out well. The USA will be bigger and better than ever before. So this was a call to action here from Donald Trump. And so now people are starting to question how many congressional members bought stock after this announcement from Donald Trump. You guys know how I feel about this. I do not think that Congress members should participate in insider trading. I don't think they should be trading stocks, period. But of course, you know, I'm not the law, but people are pointing to this post from him, and Marjorie Taylor Greene is being called out. People are calling out Nancy Pelosi. We need to take a look and see how many people were involved in that are congressional members. Now, I told you that stock market did surge, right? The stock market surged after he announced that pause on the tariffs. But that's not what's happening today, because as of Thursday morning, it drops right back down. The Dow tumbles 1,000 points, wiping out a chunk of Wednesday's historic rally. So do you see how quickly it went up and it just went right back down? Like, this was Thursday morning. Stocks fell Thursday, giving back some of the gains from the historic rally seen in the previous session after Trump announced the 90-day reprieve on some of his reciprocal tariffs. Investors are worried that even with the short pause on some of the duties, economic activity will be slowed by Trump's singling out of China with a much higher rate. So again, China is not excluded from those tariffs. And I want to show you something else here, right? I want to show you who's really winning. Now, Donald Trump is in this room with Charles Schwab. Listen to what he says.
This is Charles Schwab. It's not just a company, it's actually an individual. And he made $2.5 billion today, and he made $900 million. That's not bad. You know, he's in financials. I've always been following.
So do you see that? Charles Schwab, these people just got richer. Okay? Charles Schwab just got richer while other people are trying to count their pennies and they're looking at their grocery list and they're like, we might have to put this back this time. So Donald Trump didn't pause the tariffs to help the working people. He didn't pause the tariffs because workers were upset or working class was upset or the poor was upset. He paused it to help his billionaire buddies like Charles Schwab and Bill Ackman. These people are continuing to get richer. A mask off moment for Donald Trump. This is what we tried to warn you guys about. He was not going to look out for the working class. Mask off moment. Everything that he has done so far when it comes to economics has been to benefit the billionaire class, not the workers. Hey guys, this was a Sabby clip. If you like what you saw, hit that like button and subscribe.